Hello and welcome to my review of the Warhammer 40,000 INDOMITUS Bladeguard Veteran Squad. Currently the only way of getting these three models is in the £125 INDOMITUS box set. Games Workshop, in one of their community articles, have already confirmed with a picture of a separate Bladeguard Veteran box set which will be coming out. Price wise, I would go as far to say as they will want to be charging the same price as the Death Guard Death Shroud Bodyguard, which are £35. They might surprise us though, and they might just set them at £30, £10 per Bladeguard Veteran. But it depends, and it depends what you get in the set, whether you get enough parts to make a captain or a lieutenant, or different weapons and things. We'll see, but at the moment, unfortunately, you can only get it in the INDOMITUS set. So what I'll do is I'll look at each of these three models individually, and then I'll go through all of the size comparisons, and finally we'll go through all of the rules. This is a brand new unit for Primaris Space Marines. They've never had anything kind of melee focused in terms of a squad, and here comes INDOMITUS, and we get a squad of three Primaris with power swords and storm shields, along with assault intercessors. Since their release in Dark Imperium, Primaris have been very ranged focused with their bolt rifles and suppressors and inceptors, and they've never really had a lot of melee weaponry, and this new release has brought a combination of both melee and a little bit of ranged as well, in terms of the Outriders with fast attack and the weapons platform and the bunker. I'm sure there's more things to come. Oh, and the tank as well, the Gladiator tank. Anyway, let's have a look at these Bladeguard Veteran. They are the star in the show on the box set. You've got some Necrons there, but the key focus of the set is this brand new Bladeguard Veteran. They look absolutely amazing. They kind of remind me of the Marneus Calgar's kind of bodyguard, but in Primaris form. I think they were just standard Space Marines, but these are Primaris. A fair amount of detail on these models. They've got these big storm shields which are almost the same size as a normal Space Marine. We'll go through size comparisons in a mo. You've got some skulls in various places. You've got these extra shield things which have been around on Terminators for a while. You've got these Iron Halo type things on all of their power plants. They all look very unique and individual. I can't wait to get my hands on the new set, the individual box set. But they also have these long heavy bolt pistols, which I do think is a bit odd looking. I'd rather them be on the side, but I guess when they were designing them, that's just where they could be put. The swords are quite a nice length as well. I think any shorter and they'd look a bit funky. They've got both the shoulder pauldrons with these extra guards. The power plants aren't anything special except for the little Iron and Halo thing. They've got additional kind of scenic base things, which is just like a rock or a Necron head or something like that. But they look really cool. I love the face plates. I love the helmets. I think they're way cooler than the normal sort of intercessor helmets. They're very much like a lieutenant kind of helmet. So that's one of them. This is the other one, kind of quite stoic. I'd probably go as far as to say that this is the Sergeant out of this set. He's got more purity seals, he's got a skull on his helmet. Yeah, it's alright poses, I guess. So yeah, similar kind of detailing as the other one, but just has that little skull on his helmet to mark him out with a really cool looking helmet. And then finally this one, maybe because this one's the Sergeant, who actually knows, but same power sword as normal, same storm shield. If we have a look, they are exactly the same. There's no differences in all. They're the same size storm shield. There are subtle differences, like this one has a purity seal on it, this one doesn't. I like this pose out of all of them. I think this is the best pose. He's about to swing his sword or take fire with that storm shield on there. But yeah, it's just really cool and nice to see Primaris with a shield and sword, especially if you're like a Black Templars player or Dark Angels player or Blood Angels. It's just really cool to see storm shields on Primaris and power swords on Primaris, other than like in the captains, which we had at the start of Dark Imperium a few years ago. Anyway, that's the final one, and this one has a Necron skull that's been kind of blown open or ripped open there, and you can actually see this mini kind of addition to the base there. So that's all three of them. What I'll do now is just go through some size comparisons. So yeah, the kind of big brother to them all, I guess, is the Lieutenant. They're gonna work really well with the Lieutenant. The Lieutenant has the same size storm shield. He has actually got a sheath for his power sword, whereas the others don't have a sheath, which yeah is a bit odd. I mean, maybe they maybe they can just maglock their power sword to their armour and then pull out the pistol, but yeah, of course the Lieutenant has this Neo-Volkite pistol instead of a heavy bolt pistol. But yeah, detail wise there's not an awful lot more going on with the Lieutenant, maybe a fancier shoulder pauldron. But yeah, they definitely share their aesthetics. He's got like a Necron head there on his base too, so he's going to look really well with them, work well. And then finally the big daddy is the Captain. The Captain's going to work really well with them. All of these guys in a group are going to be pretty much unstoppable. They've got a lot of wounds, they've got all the invulnerable saves, they've got the normal saves which are buffed by the storm shields. That's like a new little rule now that bumps up their save by 1, it improves it. The long range weapons aren't the best, except for the Neo-Volkite pistol. You know, the heavy bolt pistols are all right, but what you're really going to get with these are close combat monsters. You're going to get a lot of attacks, especially if they're buffed with a Bladeguard Ancient. Don't leave home without one if you've got the Bladeguard veterans. They're going to be buffed by all of these additional HQ and elite choices, and they're going to be pretty much unstoppable in combat with the number of attacks and the armor penetration that those power swords output. Anyway, I'm kind of like running off on a tangent, but that's the size comparison with your main HQs and elites. Here's another elite, the Judicia. All of those models with the melee weapons and things look really, really cool together. But I hope that size comparison helps. Next to the Eradicators, which I always forget, I guess, but yeah, comparing them to an Eradicator, similar kind of size. The Eradicators are a bit bigger because they're in this Gravis armour with their melter cannon weapons, ridiculous. But yeah, that's how they compare with those. And then just comparing them with you know, some Necron models. I've got a normal Necron warrior. They're going to be much bigger than those, going to be able to slice through them no problem, and you know, cause some damage. But compared to like the Necron Overlord, the Necron Overlord is a bit taller, fair bit taller, like heads and shoulders taller, but then again he is an HQ. And then compared to the Skorpekh Lord, yeah, that's who you want to be getting these guys against, because you know, other than a range weapon, you've got these power swords which can really do some damage, and they're going to be able to take a lot of damage with those storm shields too. So try and take out the Skorpekh Lord and the Overlord with these guys is a good tactic. And then the final size comparison I always like to make is just with these with these legends. So I've got a Space Marine Legacy so I've got a Legacy Space Marine here, looking quite small, probably up to his chest piece there. And then next to Sly Marbo, again similar kind of height. But the good news is with the normal Primaris Intercessor, they are pretty much the same size. So if you've got these Bladeguard veterans along with some intercessors to support them, or even the assault intercessors, they're all going to be the same size. So this is a full transition, I guess, from your normal standard Legacy Space Marines to a full Primaris army. You know, you can easily make a full Primaris army now, maybe with some other additional support from the older Space Marine models. But yeah, you can get a full Primaris army. We've just got to wait for, you know, these Bladeguard veterans in their individual set, or the other units coming out like the Gladiator tank and things. So that's where they measure up with you know, the newer models and the Necrons, and with the older models. So what I'd like to do now is just go through all of the rules for the Bladeguard Veteran Squad. They are an elite choice, and of course we all know by now that the Space Marine Elite section is very cramped. There's everything from Terminators to Centurions to Vanguard squads and Stern Guard squads and things like that, and Dreadnoughts even. I mean, there's lots and lots of elites, and Terminators. There's a lot to choose from, and even individual characters as well, like the Judicia and the Bladeguard Ancient as well. It would be nice if their rules incorporated the Bladeguard Ancient, such as like a Bladeguard Veteran Squad can be accompanied with a Bladeguard Ancient and doesn't take up another like elite choice. That would be good. I think some units in different armies have that, like I think the Dark Apostle and I think the Adeptus Sororitas have a couple of units that do that too, that they don't actually take a unit choice up in the force organisation, but there we go. So the Bladeguard Veteran Squad, they're an elite choice. They're a power points cost of 5. I have no idea how much they're going to cost in match play. We will find out when the Space Marine Codex releases in October. You get 2 Bladeguard Veterans and 1 Bladeguard Veteran Sergeant. So the Bladeguard Veteran stat line reads movement of 6 inches, weapon skill and ballistic skill both 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 8 and a save of 3+. The Sergeant has exactly the same stat line, except he gets 4 attacks and has a better leadership of 9. They're equipped with a heavy bolt pistol, Mastercrafted power sword, frag grenades, crack grenades and storm shield. So you get a nice synergy of 5 war gear loadouts, I guess. So the heavy bolt pistol works as usual. It's a range 18-inch, pistol 1, strength 4, AP -1 and a damage of 1. It's a little bit like the Absolver bolt pistol, but instead of strength 5, it's a strength 4. And it doesn't do damage 2, it only does damage 1. So it's a bit of a downgrade compared to the Absolver bolt pistols that both the Judicia and the Chaplains are equipped with. The Mastercrafted power sword, one of the main reasons you get them. Everybody loves Space Marines with power swords, especially if you've got them as like an elite choice rather than an HQ choice. It's a melee weapon, it's a strength +1, so that means that their strength is 5, AP -3 and a damage of 2. That's very, very solid. Loving the AP -3. And then the frag grenades and crack grenades do what they usually do. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. They've got the storm shields, so the bearer has a 4+ invulnerable save. However, new for 9th edition, they've changed the storm shield ability somewhat. They've given it a second ability. So before, storm shields normally gave you a 4+ invulnerable, and they were very popular with Terminators, Thunderhammer Storm Shields. You get a 4+ invulnerable and a 2+ normal, which meant that was better than their standard, I think, 5+ invulnerable that they got. But now, the second ability is improve the bearer save characteristic by 1. That's amazing. So they're pretty much like Terminators now. They've got the 3 wounds, they've got the 3 attacks, and instead of their 3+ saves, they've now got 2+ saves. So they've got a 2+ normal and a 4+ invulnerable. That is extremely survivable. Yes, they may cost a lot in match play points, but 3 of these, which equate to 9 wounds, cost exactly the same power points as the Bladeguard Ancient, which only has 5 wounds and doesn't have an invulnerable save and doesn't have a power sword even. So even if you can't afford the Bladeguard Ancient in your roster or points, these are definitely worth picking up and including in your army. Their weakness though is their delivery method. You need to put them in some kind of impulsor or repulsor to carry them across the battlefield quickly. You really need to do that, because if they're walking about at movement 6 inches, yes, it's nice that they've got a 2+ save, but they're going to be picked off. They're only toughness of 4, and while 3 wounds sounds a lot, if they take a lot of hits, like 20 shots or something, it's going to start to whittle them down. And then the final ability is Angels of Death, which you can find that out in the Codex Space Marines. Their keywords: Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, Infantry, Primaris Bladeguard and Bladeguard Veteran Squad. So there you go. I'm a big fan of these. I really am. I like where Games Workshop are going with them. I think in the Codex they will expand that data sheet to allow you to have 5 of them in a squad, and having 5 of them in a repulsor or something is going to be amazing. Or even just having 3 of them with a lieutenant and a captain all in a transport. One of the best close combat units in the game, in my opinion. Certainly do rival the Terminators, but what you're getting with the Terminators is you might get a little bit shorter movement speed, but you're getting those power fists, which is very high strength weaponry. And you're getting more shots with the Storm Bolters, and you've got the ability to have like heavy flamers and assault cannons and cyclone missile launchers. So range-wise, they've got more options, but these are very, very strong. If you need a squad or a unit, an elite kind of unit that are you know, focused on taking out characters or high points cost units that don't have a large toughness, like a big vehicle or a big monstrous creature or something, these are the way to go. These are highly specialised, highly elite. They are created for a specific purpose, and if you get these into a unit of 20 Necron warriors, then yeah, they're going to mow them down most probably, but it's a little bit of a waste. You want to be having these at the Scoreplate destroyers or units that are quite pricey in your opponent's army, rather than just the basic troops. But what do you guys think of the Bladeguard veterans? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.